Okay, so I've noticed kind of a strange phenomenon within the ketovore, carnivore community. It seems that this phenomenon has taken place with myself to some extent, with a majority of my clients, and also a bunch of other YouTubers. So stay tuned. I'm going to talk about this kind of strange thing that's happening, and I wonder if it's happening to you guys too, and I'd like to get your feedback. So I'll be right back. Okay, so the phenomenon I'm talking about is no big mystery. A lot of the people that go to a carnivore diet are doing so to heal some sort of gut-related issue, skin disease-related issue, immune disorder. Some people are now using it to help their body rid body fat and kind of cure obesity. There's a lot of different symptoms that can be helped by eating a carnivore diet, and one of them is some people don't do good with fiber. There's people out there that the plant foods, the carbohydrates, the fiber, the lectins, the anti-nutrients, all of that vegan stuff and the plant-based stuff just simply doesn't work, and it messes their digestion up, and it just causes so much inflammation in their body. But generally what you see is people go to a carnivore diet and stop eating vegetables pretty much altogether. Some people go to more of a ketovore approach, which is what I do, and I'll talk a little bit about that later in the video, what vegetables I eat, if I eat any. And they kind of move to a place where at the end of the day, maybe they've had a little lettuce, or maybe they have had zero vegetables at all. Then they've been doing that for a while, and you know, I've had clients that have been like doing the carnivore thing for like a few months, and then they're like, you know what sounds really good? A few pumpkin seeds, some almonds, and a big old salad with a ton of vegetables and some olive oil. They make a big old salad and they eat it. And then all of a sudden, just like boom, they're bloated and they're gassy and their digestion feels crazy. And that's the phenomenon, is that a lot of people go to the carnivore diet because the plant foods they're eating is not working for them. It's kind of poisoning them. It's just at that place where they're at, it's not working for whatever reason. So they go carnivore, they start eating all the animals, the digestion, the bloating, the issues in the gut kind of go away pretty rapidly. The body fat dissipates pretty rapidly. And lo and behold, every time you eat a plant, then you kind of have major issues. So that's the phenomenon. When you go carnivore, for a lot of people, you get even more sensitive to plants and to the foods that mess you up. Now, for most of us and for most of you, this is no big deal. I mean, what's the big deal? You just keep avoiding the foods that don't work for you. But is this telling us something? That's what I'm looking at. Is the fact that the parts of our system, our digestion, that aren't taking in the nutrients and assimilating things and that have an inflammatory response, if those aren't doing well, then what's up? Have they become, more sensitive? Does that mean they're healing? Have they become more sensitive and that means that things are even worse than they were before? Here's what I think is going on. First of all of that detailed anatomy and nutritional science, those questions most likely can never be answered. They will always just be questions and philosophies, and people will have theories, but the way that modern science works and the way that research is set up, it's just too hard to do definitive nutritional research, and that's why there's so much debate about every subject out there. I take a more common sense, real world approach. Eat this, see what happens, adjust accordingly. And here's what's worked for me amazingly. I have noticed, first of all, that since eating a ketovore, a high animal product, high fat diet, that plant foods that I used to eat do tend to give me a little bit of bloating. The thing is though, is compared to what? Compared to now, yeah, I have zero bloating now Never. So anytime I have any fiber, I get a little more bloated compared to normal. When I was on a plant-based diet, I was always bloated, so that seemed normal. So I don't think a little bit of bloating, for me personally, from the plant foods that I eat, which is basically like salads once in a while, leafy greens, and celery juice. That's the main plant foods I'm eating, and some sauerkraut and sauerkraut juice here and there. That's it. And when I eat a ton of salad, or if I eat a bunch of, you know, carrots in my broth or in my soup, I get a little bloated. Now, for me, I'm fine with it. It's just the fiber doing its thing. I tend to do pretty good with celery juice regularly in my diet and a salad once in a while in my diet, and a few things like onions and carrots in my broth with my soups, which I'm a big fan of. Chicken broth, bone broth soups with well-sourced meats and a little bit of, like I said, carrots, onions, celery, and lots of salt and pepper. Tastes amazing, so healing for the gut. And that's about it. That's pretty much all I do veggie-wise. Health-wise, it has had absolutely no negative impact eating those vegetables. I feel better when I have those vegetables and that amount of plant foods in my diet, rather than when I'm just straight meat and meat only and nothing else. And some will say, well, Rob, that's not a carnivore diet. And I would say, call it what you want to. Like I said, labels, dietary labels, you know, I'm eating whole foods, label it what you want. I kind of call it a carnivore, a ketovore-ish diet rather, but really I don't mind what label. Traditional foods, primal, paleo, whole foods, whatever. To wrap things up, I'd love to hear from you guys. You carnivore eaters or your keto eaters out there, when you went to a high fat, a traditional approach, and left the carbohydrates and the sugars behind, have you guys had similar results with eating plant foods? Or does eating plants just do absolutely nothing? You can eat as much salad, as much fiber as you want, along with your, you know, well-sourced meats and high-fat foods, and it's just no problem. I've had some clients and some people I consult with that absolutely have to take all the plants out totally, besides celery juice, in order to heal. And that approach works really well. I've also had clients that are the complete opposite. They have to take almost all food out besides green juice and lettuce and greens and some fruit in the beginning, and then in the end kind of some well-sourced wild-caught fish while we're healing their gut, and some bone broths. So both approaches work. I'd like to hear from you guys though. Do you have the weird carnivore-ish phenomenon where the longer you're doing carn, the more your body seems a little bit susceptible or a little bit sensitive to plant foods in general? And what do you think this means? Is this our body telling us, oh no, those anti-nutrients and those defense mechanisms in the plants are, I told you, you're not supposed to eat them? Or does it just simply mean that the plants are doing their thing? We get really used to digesting protein and fat, and when you throw something else in the mix, the body has to adjust. I'd love to hear from you guys. Next group class is posted on holistichealthactivation.com. If you're looking to get a hold of me to get help privately reversing your skin health issues, there's a link in the description box for that. I'll be back, you guys, with many more videos coming up. Leave all your comments and questions down below. If you're new to this channel, remember to subscribe and share. You can find me on Instagram at Rob Stuart. In real life, I'm just Rob Stuart. Much love, you guys. I'm out.